Drought, severe storms, rising sea levels, all of that becoming even worse after another record-breaking year for planet Earth. CCTV's Jim Spellman has been sorting through new climate data from the United States and joins us here in Washington with insight. Jim?
Mike, this new report makes it clear that the planet is getting warmer, and the researchers behind this survey say it's largely due to man-made greenhouse gas emissions.
On the oceans and on land, 2014 was the warmest year on record. That, according to the latest calculations by U.S. space and weather agencies. This animation, provided by the U.S. space agency NASA, shows the warming of planet Earth, starting in 1880 and going through 2014.
The 10 warmest years in this record, 9 of them have occurred since 2000. So that means that there's a very strong tendency of the temperature over the globe to be increasing with time.
If the trend continues, NASA warns we could see huge impacts around the world as polar ice caps melt, increasing the risk of flooding and other extreme conditions.
There are also a lot of implications too for increasingly severe droughts, heat waves and droughts, which can affect crop production. It can lead to more wildfires because the vegetation is very dry.
The findings are consistent for the northern and southern hemispheres and are especially significant because 2014 was not a year with El Niño, the cyclical phenomenon where ocean waters warm, often creating extreme weather. Climate change deniers sometimes point to El Niño as the cause for record-high global temperatures. These latest findings, along with existing research, point to the release of man-made carbon emissions as the cause of the warming planet.
So the evidence is really very strong that it is greenhouse gas increases that is causing this warming of the atmosphere of the planet.
To reverse course won't be easy and would likely require major changes in energy production, transportation, and industry.
The only way to stop greenhouse gases increasing, as they have done, is to basically stop emitting them. And that means that it basically needs a change in human behavior, move to alternative technologies, to not use as many fossil fuels as we have done.
Scientists continue to study global climate change. A new NASA project uses satellite-based laser instruments to study the impact of airborne particles like smoke, dust, sulfates, and sea salt on global climate change.
Mike, it's a chilly night here in Washington, D.C., about what you expect for this time of year, and it can be easy to look at the weather around us, our local weather, and say, I don't really notice a change here. What's really impressive about this study, they used 6,300 monitoring stations all around the world on the oceans and on land to take these test measurements. They've been doing this for many years now, and they feel really confident that they really are reflecting an ever increasingly warmer planet Earth, Mike.
You know, as you listen to Stephen, I think it's pretty simple. News is bad. He says the evidence is strong. So what's the international community doing about it?
Well, if you start with the world's two biggest economies, the United States and China, President Barack Obama of the United States, President Xi Jinping of China, banged out an agreement back in November to lower greenhouse gas emissions by 2025 for the U.S., starting in 2030 for China. And in December in Paris, the UN is convening a major summit to try to address the issue. But the real problem is this battle between economic growth and greenhouse gas emissions. Countries that are still developing especially want to be able to have a wider availability to using fossil fuels so they can build their economies, whereas in the developing, the more developed world, there's more of a pressure to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. It's hard to see how they're going to really fix that sort of dueling priorities without some major leap forward in technologies, Mike.
All right, Jim Spellman live for us in Washington, D.C. No easy fix there.